My name for the record is Alexander Petrov. My ambition took me to the treacherous slopes of K2 after years of successful summits on many of the world's biggest mountains. I wanted to add K2 to my list of accomplishments, but none of my direct climbing partners were prepared to take the risk. I planned a solo route out for more than a year. I had made several climbs to leave supplies up until Camp 4 in the company of another climbing expedition. They, however, were not going to attempt a summit, and this was known before. I had done all the prep work to make a solo attempt at the summit. This is how I died. The cold cut through my layers of clothing, gnawing at my bones as I took each laborious step upward. K2, the savage mountain, loomed ominously before me. My heart pounded, not just from the altitude, but also from the overwhelming sense of isolation. I had chosen to embark on a solo climb, and now, as I trudged through the relentless snow and icy winds, I questioned my decision. The climb had started with a sense of determination and an unyielding belief in my abilities. The weather had been relatively stable, and I had made steady progress. But then, as I ascended towards the Bottleneck, the unpredictable nature of K2's weather began to reveal itself. The first sign of the impending storm was the ominous darkening of the sky. The sun, which had been my only source of warmth and guidance, disappeared behind a shroud of angry clouds. The air grew thick with tension, and I felt a shiver run down my spine. I had heard the stories of K2's ferocious weather, but nothing could have prepared me for what was about to happen. As I continued my ascent, the wind began to howl with a ferocity that seemed almost alive. My face stung, and I pulled my balaclava tighter over my head, squinting through the blinding snow. The temperature plummeted, and the cold seeped into my very core. I had a choice to make: push onward or turn back. But the allure of the summit was too strong, and I chose to press forward, believing that the storm would pass. It was a decision that would prove fatal. The wind intensified, howling like an enraged beast. Each step became a battle against the gale, and it felt as if the mountain itself were trying to repel me. Visibility became almost non-existent, and I relied on my headlamp to navigate the treacherous terrain. My world had shrunk to the small circle of light that cut through the darkness. The storm unleashed a relentless barrage of snow and ice, biting into my face and making it difficult to breathe. Time lost all meaning as I struggled higher, the world around me reduced to a swirling abyss. The relentless cold gnawed at my extremities, and I feared frostbite. Despair settled in as exhaustion gnawed at my every step. I pushed forward, determined to reach the Bottleneck and find shelter from the storm. But the mountain had other plans. With a sudden and savage fury, the storm intensified. I could barely see a few feet in front of me, and the wind threatened to knock me off my feet. And then it happened. A sudden gust of wind sent me stumbling, and I lost my footing. My crampons slipped on the icy slope, and I began to slide. Panic set in as I desperately tried to self-arrest, but the storm's fury was unrelenting. I was tossed like a ragdoll, my body battered against the unforgiving terrain. As I slid downward, time seemed to slow. I caught glimpses of the abyss below me, the jagged rocks and crevasses that would be my final resting place. My ice axe clawed at the snow and ice, but it was futile. I was powerless against the mountain's wrath. With a bone-jarring impact, I came to a sudden stop, my body wedged precariously between two ice formations. Pain radiated through every inch of my battered form. I tried to move, but the agony was overwhelming. I knew that my fate was sealed. As the storm continued to rage around me, I lay there, battered and broken, on the unforgiving slopes of K2. The mountain had shown its true nature, a merciless and unforgiving force of nature that had claimed my life in a moment of vulnerability. Darkness descended, and with it, the realization that I would never leave this place.